This is Skull Island: Rise of Kong, a real game that somehow released in 2023 for $40. Some people say it is the worst game of this generation, so I played through all of it, and this was the wonderful experience that I had. Our tall tale begins with a voiceover reminding us how there have been plenty of stories told throughout history, but the one today is more important than any other, the story of Kong. Apparently, plenty of creatures in the wilderness have hindered their ability to exist, and we are reassured we won't just be told the story, we are going to live it. Then we're abruptly tossed into this cel-shaded world to start our journey. You may be floored of how stunning this game looks for a title released in 2023, so I was curious of what would happen if you make the graphics quality low, but when I did, there wasn't even a difference. Maybe my eyes just aren't good enough and only certain individuals were blessed with the vision able to notice it. None of this matters anyways because there is a storm coming, and storms equal bad. Papa Kong and Child Kong have not returned from battle, so me as the mother needs to take matters into my own hands by getting into a scuffle with a bunch of birds, clapping their heads in or pounding them into the dirt. It's kinda pathetic I almost lost to these birds. With my size versus theirs, easy domination should be on the table. Sadly, it just wasn't meant to be. I thought something was wrong with Mama Kong, then I found out that might actually be the case when I used my skull to break open a stone wall. You'd figure she'd punch it, but no. Using your forehead is a more sensible solution. After breaking the wall with my head still intact, traversing through the watercolor painting, I was stunned at the attention to detail while jumping, no leg bending at all, just pure power from a stationary position, propelling myself forward. I activated my ultimate power for the first time. I'm not fully sure what it did, but I survived with a sliver of health when going against this wild pack of animals, so I can't be too angry. And as I continue to progress, I'm really hoping there is more combat depth here. All I've been doing is pressing the same two buttons on repeat during battles, and with a video game of this quality, I'm anticipating to see how deep the fighting system will truly go. Hand claps and backhanded bitch slaps can only take you so far. I crinkled this dinosaur into a paper ball, learned a new technique of using the full strength of my legs to jump across gaps, threw rocks at some birds, where finally, I think using my head to break walls is starting to show some real damage. That, or Mama Kong was just very interested in this wood because she took full control of herself. I'm not even pressing any buttons here. She just started running into this tree all on her own. I literally couldn't do anything, couldn't pause the game, move, attack. It was just me waiting for this bird to kill me so I could be in control again. I got informed I could do epic actions such as the ground slam during combat to make fighting more of an exhilarating experience. Wow, it's like the game listened to me a few seconds ago. I love when games do this, it makes me feel like I'm really there. After more running down a straight pathway, I found a big dinosaur, giving my family the works, beating Papa Kong to a pulp. Mama Kong roars, pumping her adrenaline for the battle against Ga. My damage was absolutely pathetic. Not even my oversized club hands can do anything to this monster. I stormed this thing's beaches for a while, but it turns out I was supposed to die here. Ga takes a bite out of my neck. Baby Kong starts crying over his family sleeping on the floor. It's alright, champ. Dad was just out drinking with the boys last night and is just passed out. He'll be a-okay. Unfortunately, the small monkey didn't like watching his dad nap, and he leaves his family alone with the big dino. We are given an old-timer instant insert years later cutscene, telling us Kong wants to grow big and strong to kill the dinosaur. Even more years pass. Kong is now grown, has a dead family, and is ready to go into the wilderness on his lonesome to conquer his demons. It was 2 steps forward, but also 3 steps backwards. Everything in the beginning that we were shown how to do, like leaping, breaking walls with our forehead, none of that stuff is possible now, making me wonder why we were even shown how to do those maneuvers in the first place. I'm not a game developer. If I had to make a guess, it could be a 4D chess way of keeping players' engagement, showing them what is possible in the future, that whole infamous carrot on a stick method. The capabilities of what is possible within the mind and body of a gorilla is paralleled by nothing. I parkoured on some rocks that are purple for some reason, found a branch that disappeared when I picked it up, second time was a charm, letting me whack these birds into next week. The swing of this branch is not rivaled by anything, reminding me of my time in Little League that I never attended. Adding to the baseball analogy, this monkey has a serious arm, an absolute demon on the plate. He was throwing heaters of this caliber in the before Christ era, so imagine how he would be now. I decided to save my progress after my hard work, and my primal instincts made me do it at the right time, thankfully, since this next area started giving me the business. Clear, fight, and clear the zone, the game says. Stick comes out, devastation is delivered all throughout the circle, pulling off plays you won't see anywhere else. I threw a bird right into a dinosaur, ricocheting him away to save myself. Pure talent. How could you not subscribe after seeing that? Unfortunately, the numbers became too much over time and I died. I continuously died until I learned the tactic of sitting back, unleashing rocks on my opposition. During the war, another fantastic discovery was made. Whenever I crumple up a dinosaur into a ball, my health gets refilled, allowing me to finally clear this zone, giving me my first skill point. That skill point, of course, got invested into making myself stronger. I bombed a bird trying to fly away from me, gave more stones to the local wildlife, pulverized this crab so badly it forgot it was dead, watched an enemy that was dead start floating towards me, reached a destroy area, tasking me to break multiple nests, but there was only one, giving me another skill point upon destroying it. While I was exploring the wilderness, I jumped onto this weird looking rock that I fell straight through. Now, during the tutorial area, these rocks needed to be broken by slamming on it. Apparently though, this one is a special rock. Rise of Kong seems to do what it can to go above and beyond, ensuring the player will be fully invested at all moments. I was stunned by this, resetting my attention span so I can continue to be retention farmed. If you're wondering where it led me, it was inside of a cave that I couldn't progress in, so I'm probably missing an ability. One that I hope this worm will give me, Earth Gija. This truly was a rough battle for me. Everything has been quite easy up to this point, but he was beating me like I saw my dad get beat all those years ago, forcing me to be careful, otherwise I'll respawn who knows how far back. Gija brought me to health I can't even see, one hit and I was dead, so I locked in harder than I ever did at school to ensure this parentless primate can move on with his life, taking down the beast. I got absolutely nothing for my troubles, giving me a deeper connection with Kong here, and with the power of parasocialism, me and Kong will travel deeper into the jungle together. Immediately into this new area, I'm expected to do parkour on a bunch of rocks, which is easier said than done, and I'm sure grueling hours of effort was put into Kong's parkour abilities, as with every other facet of this game, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I want or what you want. All that matters is what the final monkey wants, and he is going to turn this land into his kingdom by jumping across stones. After continuously falling and getting stuck, I eventually broke another nest, got a skill point, racking up my power by the minute. This is a true statement. Kong was getting so powerful, he could kill one of these flying turkeys by only using his mind. I do hope Ga is watching me from the background in pure fear. I am coming, and I will conquer these lands, even if I die trying. It appears I've already spread that fear mentality across the entirety of this forest anyways. It's a miracle how little amount of enemies were found throughout my times here. I'd see small groups here and there, but no one appeared to want to test their mettle against me. I was just playing Running Simulator, looking for a real challenge. The most interesting thing that happened to me was walking across conveniently placed logs to cross over a gap, and also this big decision that I made. I had 10 skill points in the bank, so I got myself skill number 2 on this branch, giving me more health. Then I thought, I was born to play ball, so I'm going to play ball. Move those points over to my rock throwing abilities, making them bigger and faster, also being able to throw little enemies and kill them instantly. Very exciting, I know. After making my major life choices, I was on the move, reached an area where water forgot it was supposed to spawn in, sending me straight to another boss fight. A giant crab named King Dengiz. Right away, he was challenging me with who the better ball player is, so I'm going to close that distance and clobber him for it. An idea that was not a good one. Denny was seriously giving me the business. He seemed to be able to hit me regardless of where I was standing around him. continuously running away from me, and more importantly, my rocks deal no damage, creating a real battle. Skull Island has a true competitor for me. It's been a while, but I'm all for it. I'm expecting at least one death here, so I'm going out with a bang, unleashing my ultimate power one final time, just to see what happens. Big damage is dealt, phase 2 is incoming, the war is getting more competitive, Kong makes a big play and mutilates the crab, things are getting serious, the cutscene ends, and if you remember that flying turkey from earlier that I killed with my mind, Kong apparently elevated his mind powers so much in the background, he was able to freeze this giant crab in place to slay the beast. The nation of domination strikes again. Even Kong himself is astounded at what he just did with his very own brain, forcing him to take a seat, and while doing so, he has a flashback of a diorama project him and his family made before they all died. Thankfully, I got rewarded for this battle, gaining the ability to smash my head into the wall. What a true honor this is. There's nothing like harnessing the power of giving yourself brain damage before the age of 30. Kong then skates his way right into the woods that look exactly the same as the first area. Some would call this lazy design, but I call it authenticity. Have you visited a jungle before? Would you know where you are going if you were in his shoes? No, you would not. He is living a hard life. This totally new area started radiating positivity immediately when Kong started glitching while trying to pick up a bird. I ran down a pathway and reached a new enemy type, grabbed a branch, started beating him with it, but to his credit, he took it like a champ, gave him a fatality for his troubles, relived the moment of when my parents died, then joined them with Davy Jones after hitting a landmine. My issue now is that I have no health and I don't know where any of the health pickups are. Just kidding, this is my jungle and I know it like the back of my penis. I got some flowers to refill my juice, got more skill points after beating down on wildlife, put those points right into my primal rage power, because adding more gas to the bicycle will always help, especially when going against yet another boss. After Kong shows 3 different emotions in 5 seconds, we are attacked by 3 brothers. They walk menacingly towards me. Kong forgot his script for a second, entering us into battle. I think here is where I found the speedrunner's tactic when it comes to fighting enemies. 2 swipes and a Shao Kahn special. It stun locked all 3 of these guys when pulling off the move. This is a maneuver I'm going to hold near and dear for when I take that world record away from whoever is currently holding it. This was the easiest boss battle yet. You'd figure 3 bosses at once would be hard, but it wasn't. Kong let his anger get the best of him, slamming the Death Runner so hard it turns into stones, letting me enter a cave. And let me tell you, this fucking cave. You can think life itself is terrible, the whole entire world hates you, all of that will feel like nothing when you enter the Great Caverns. One of the many exciting moments I got to have was how my attacks just stopped working. I don't even know how it happened. I ran into these spiders ready to give them the works, but no matter how many times I pressed the attack button, Kong would swipe his hand and just pull it back. So cool, I can't kill anything anymore. Even when picking up a weapon, Kong just wouldn't swing it. I had to run past everything. It's not like I could fight them anyways. Problem number 8 for me was how this area is riddled with platforming. Yes, of course, Kong has the ability to jump without bending his knees. That does not mean he is good at parkour though. I kept running back and forth, unsure of where I'm supposed to be going. The game itself didn't even feel like helping me. There's an ability to help guide you, and it was bringing me in the wrong direction. This cave was just driving me bananas. When I finally found an area I needed to fight in, I had to let this spider kill me so I could attack again. And this scuffle right here just explains how exhilarating and fun this all was. A sad hunk of hairy meat getting stun-locked by a group of spiders. Some are getting stuck in the air. I'm jumping inside of the wall to execute them. This is easily a top 10 cave in gaming history. Thank Jesus, Ra, whoever, eventually I did find the correct way to travel and found another boss, Queen Alphabet. She walks around above me, I throw a rock at her, so she drops and I can go for the kill. My only problem is how these other spiders keep stunning me while I'm on the prowl, so forget it. I throw my Dwaynes at her after completely giving up on what I was born to do. This is destiny, it's just evolution. Kong yells at a bunch of spiders that crawl on the screen he doesn't know exists. He walks away, very proud of this achievement. I earned the ground pound move, which doesn't matter anyways, since as we established earlier, the areas I need to break with ground pound, I can just walk right through them. Kong has a roaring dick measuring contest with another monster across the canyon, entering me into yet another area that looks exactly the same as the last time I was outside. Keeping with the fun of repeating things, yet again my attacks weren't working. Possibly the game just wanted to hinder my domination from occurring. With how easy everything has been for Kong here, I can understand it to some degree, but this is definitely the moment where skill-based matchmaking was in full effect, forcing me to go back to my age-old tactics of throwing rocks. I jumped through the floor to kill this big hermit crab, ran into an area that I needed to use my ground pound, and I'm stunned to see this one actually has physics, so I had to do the move. It does make me wonder, if this rock has physics, why don't the rest? It's a great question that will never be answered. Now, I'm sure you're all on the edge of your seats for this riveting, awe-striking gameplay of me running around, climbing on pasta, beating on dinosaurs, attacks not working properly, just fun, awesome game we have here. Wondering how in the final zone of the one and only Skull Island Rise of Kong, how is there nothing more interesting to talk about? I wish I knew the answer to that one, I seriously do. The question I do know the answer to, however, is who's atop this mountain right here. The showstopper, family heartbreaker, Ga himself, the organism that ruined my family. And now this is where Kong needs to step up to the plate, avenge his bloodline, and take this thing down. Except he couldn't. The more Kong butted his thick skull against this monstrosity, the more it makes sense how Ga killed my entire lineage so easily. Ga has one of the most overpowered attacks in gaming history, a roar that stuns you for about 15 to 20 seconds. You can't block it, it hits you from any range. If you're in the air, it sucks you towards the floor, making you lose almost half your health because of how much damage Ga does. It's also funny how the game lies to you during the battle. Every time that little sparkle appears on Ga's nose, you're supposed to be able to do a shoulder charge and stun the attack out, but it doesn't even work. He still does it no matter what, and this is definitely a joke I was not laughing at. After losing continuously, I started scrambling, seeing if changing up some of my skills would help me. I'm putting actual thought in, shocking, I know. Whatever I did though, seemed to work. It evened the odds, and this became a battle that would rival a movie. Millions upon millions of dollars in budget, hundreds of hours in reshoots, reading your lines to a T, not forgetting a single period or comma, all showcased in a 15-minute segment. Kong pulverizes Ga, breaks his freaking neck with no gold medal in sight. He roars to the moon, closing out one of the worst games in history. It really is stunting that this game is still being sold for $40 after what we all just witnessed, like seriously. But as with everything, there's always a reason to why things are the way they are. And we shockingly have an answer to what happened to this game and just why in general. Shortly after the release of Skull Island, an interview was held on The Verge by an anonymous developer spilling the beans of what actually happened. This is also where I learned GameMill, who published Big Rigs Over the Road Racing by the way, published this game as well. And if you are one of the few people who hasn't heard of Big Rigs, that game is renowned as one of the worst video games in history, due to it like barely even being started, and somehow still releasing at a retail price. But GameMill only gave Iguana B, that being the development team, one single year to build this game from scratch. This interview also shares other classic quotes such as, "It was very common for us not to be provided with all the information about the project," or even, "The crunch was really set in motion in February. I was on automatic pilot by the end of February because all hope was lost." This is an interesting read, and it gives a lot of insight about the development hell this game went through, and everything comes full circle upon reading it. It's all stuff that's kind of expected when you just experience the game and play through it once. It's another case of a publisher just putting a project on the laps of a team, gives a deadline, and then just doesn't care anymore. So finally, to answer the question from the beginning of this video, was any fun extracted from Skull Island Rise of Kong? No. The only entertainment I had was looking back at the footage to see the glitches and other stupid things happening. When I was experiencing them in real time, I would rather drink a glass of oil than deal with this ever again. If you somehow made it to the end, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want to. Leave a like and comment your thoughts on this amazing game down below. As always, take very good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all again in the next video.